The Coonhound Collective podcast is brought to you by CZ Welding and Custom Dog Boxes. Dog boxes built by hunters for hunters. Check these guys out today. This is your host, Jason Snellgrove, and I will be your guide as we journey down the road to pleasure hunt or hitting the long trail to those great comp hunts. This is the Coonhound Collective podcast. All right, today on the Coonhound Collective, we're going to talk for just a few minutes about a upcoming benefit hunt that's going to be put on in Sullivan, Missouri. I have Colton and Larry with me to talk about it. These guys are organizing it and putting it together. It's the Shriners Children's Hospital benefit hunt. And they're also having a stud dog auction and auctioning off a few more products there. And we're going to let Colton and Larry talk to you about it. Colton, Larry, how's it going?
Pretty good.
It's going pretty good.
All right, guys. So, talk to us about this hunt. It's being put on by the State of Missouri Coon Hunters Association. Tell us a little bit about the hunt, kind of in the details of putting this thing on and trying to get it to grow, and then go ahead and tell us the dates and the location of it.
Okay. So the St. Louis County Coon Hunters Association and the State of Missouri Coon Hunters Association has teamed up together to put this hunt on and make it as big as possible. We started out with a stud dog auction, which people has donated a bunch of studs up for us to auction so people can breed to their dogs. We got a dog box on there now. We got a puppy off 4x Floyd, and then Josh Bartholomew donated 2 pups also to be auctioned off. And the auction's going to end on September 2nd, and you can find the auction on Facebook at Shriners Children's Hospital Benefit Stud Dog Auction and more. The hunt is actually held on September 24th, and during the day there's going to be an auction that starts at 1 o'clock, and then following that there's going to be a bench show at 5 o'clock, and then the night hunt's going to start at 8 o'clock, and it's going to be an hour-and-a-half hunt. The overall winner of the bench show is going to receive a dog box by CZ Custom Dog Boxes, and the overall hunt winner is going to receive the same exact dog box. And the final four is also going to receive a coon light and a coon squaller from Bub Blackwell with Eye Opener Coon Squallers and Bushwhacker Coon Squallers by Justin Davenport. And they're also going to receive some dog food from Joy.
Okay. Yeah, as you know, if you're listening to this podcast, Nathan Coffman and CZ Welding and Custom Dog Boxes is our sponsor. And if you haven't already, head over to the YouTube channel, look at that video. This is not just a junk dog box. This is a very well built, very good dog box that these guys are going to be giving away. And you have an opportunity to jump in on the auction and get a nice dog box too if you want to. They have one up for auction as well. So kind of how did this come about? Is this a hunt that's been put on before, and is this just a push to try to make it bigger than what it was to be able to donate more money, or is this something brand new?
So this hunt has been put on for right around 30 years, I'm going to say. I'm not exact. Don't quote me on my numbers there, but it's been at least, I know since I'm 25 years old, and it's been put on ever since I was a kid. So we usually donate around $10,000 to $15,000 each year to the Shriners Hospital. The last few years, this thing has kind of fizzled out, and like last year, there was 0 dogs showed up at the hunt. So me and Colton took it upon ourselves to team up and try to make this thing big again, because it is for a great cause. Like I said, we usually have a couple kids from the Shriners Benefit Hospital come there and, have speeches and stuff. And if you talk to those kids and how the Shriners Benefit Hospital touches their lives, it's truly amazing. So we're just trying to regrow it and make it bigger than ever, really.
Yeah, well, I think your guys are doing a good thing. It's definitely gaining some traction on Facebook, and me and Colton had talked, and I'm going to build y'all an ad for this, and we're going to run it till the hunt to try to get as much publicity out there and keep it fresh on people's mind up until then. And it's definitely for a good cause, and the money's going to a for sure good place Is there anything else we need to add in there if somebody wants to get in, donate something, for being auctioned off or a stud dog or whatever? What's the best route for them to get a hold of somebody to get added to the auction?
They can either text me, Colton, or Larry on Facebook, and we'll get them put in there. And any donation we get, we greatly appreciate. And we appreciate Joy for stepping up and sponsoring the hunt, and CZ Custom Dog Boxes, Sandra at K-Light, James Atwell, and there's many more. I don't want to leave any of them out, but just everybody who's donated, I mean, we appreciate it so much, It's just, I can't believe the support we've already gotten, and we started it last Friday.
Yeah, it's just since you called me, and I don't remember what day you called me, maybe Saturday, and talked about it. I've been kind of watching it, and it's really, really picking up traction, and it really could be a very big hunt. You're in a good location there, and I really do think this could be a big hunt because it's going to be there right off of Interstate 44, so it'd be easy to get to, and we can make this big. And coon hunters usually come together for good causes. There's a lot of good-hearted coon hunters out there that really put their best foot forward to try to help out any way they can. So this would be a good place to get involved, whether it be through the auction or showing up at the hunt and hunting a dog. And this hunt's going to be a UKC sanctioned hunt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Is the bench show a UKC sanctioned bench show as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Is there anything else we need to add in there? To get more information out there, or anything else you guys can think of?
One thing that I do want to add is that any donation helps. It doesn't have to be coon hunting supplies or anything like that. During that live auction we have at 1 p.m. at the coon hunt, there's literally anything you can think of. There's quilts, there's cakes, there's anything you can think of in that auction. So don't think any donation's silly. I mean, we'll put anything in there. So
Yeah.
any donor appreciated as well.
Yeah. Anything that would help raise money to go to the Shriners. You're exactly right. Anything would help. So if you're interested in getting involved some kind of way with some type of donation or stud dog or puppy or equipment or a bass boat or whatever, you can reach out to Larry Bourbon, Colton Ingram on Facebook. They can put you in touch. And while I got you on here, and I'll get y'all my logo to put out there, this is going to be something new, something that I don't know that's been done, but I'm going to offer a full stud dog audio ad to run for a month that these guys can auction off, and whatever it gets, it'll be run here on the Coonhound Collective podcast for a month at no charge to these guys or to the people, just through the auction. And hopefully we can get some extra dollars raised that way. It's never been done, but I've had the idea for a little while now, and I think this would be a good place to put it out there and see if we can get some dollars raised for it. So we'll build a commercial for your stud dog, whoever wins it, and get some audio of your dog, and we'll put it all together, get it approved by whoever the winner of the auction is, and it will run for a month here on the Coonhound Collective podcast. So guys, if y'all don't have anything else, I think we can stop it here. I'll get your commercial built for you, and hopefully we can make this thing a large hunt here in Missouri.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
If you're going to build something, you better build something and make it work, and you better stand behind what you do. And like I tell everybody, you buy a dog box and something's wrong with it, we fix it, and we stand behind our job and our work. And as long as you're the original owner, if something breaks on it other than the latches and the hinges, I don't make them, so I can't stand behind them, but I'll get you some more. And, if welds break or craftsmanship's crappy, we'll fix it back for you.
Hey guys, this is Jason over at the Coonhound Collective podcast. Is your dog box starting to get wore? Maybe it's starting to get a little cracked like mine is. Maybe you've just been thinking about it's time to upgrade to a new box, but you've asked your buddies and you're just not real sure what direction to go in. Well, let me help you out here. Go check my friends out at CZ Welding and Fabrication, Custom Dog Boxes and Aluminum Products on Facebook. You can check out all their custom work they do there and their designs that they do. If you don't see something that you don't exactly like there, reach out to Nathan at 540-810-9999 540-810-5439, 540-810-5439, or send him a message through the Facebook page. I bet he can fix you up. Don't wait till fall to get that new dog box. Go ahead, get that dog box now. Get you something looking good in the back of your truck that you can be proud of and that you can haul your dog around in comfort. Check my friends out at CZ Welding and Fabrication. You won't go wrong. Dog boxes built by hunters for hunters. Get yours today. CZ Welding and Fabrication.
If I build something you don't like it, bring it back to me and I'll build you a new one or give you your money back. It don't bother me one way or the other. But
welcome to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. Today we are in Flora, Illinois at English Days, and I am joined by my buddy Nathan Coffman with CZ Custom Dog Boxes. How's it going, Nathan?
oh, pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh man, pretty good. At least it ain't a burning up hot day.
No, last year when we was out here, it was about 90 degrees, 100 degrees every day, and you was sweating yourself to death. And this year it's been fairly cool, about 80 degrees, 16 tonight.
Yeah, well, it was a nice ride over here for me, but I didn't have to drive quite as far as you did, so I wasn't quite as stiff when I got here.
No, 11-hour drive's a little rough on a man, especially with the gas prices.
Yeah, that's for sure. That didn't help matters, and you know that may affect some numbers that show up here this weekend for sure. But before we get jumping in here too quick, Nathan is stepped up and sponsored a podcast, and I want to publicly thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. And I met with Nathan here today and picked up my dog box, and you can go over to the YouTube channel. I'm going to do a video on it and show you how they're built. I don't know that you'll find a better built dog box. I looked at it when we first got here, and it's built, and it's built right to last. And whenever I made the commercial for CZ Custom Dog Boxes there, and I was talking about my dog box being cracked up, I wasn't joking. It's for real cracked up, and I don't think you're gonna have to worry about it with this one.
No, hopefully it'll hold together for you. As long as you don't roll the truck, it should stay in one piece, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. You can probably park a bulldozer on it. So anyway, without further ado, Nathan, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and kind of how you got into coon hunting.
Well, I'm Nathan Coffman. I'm 37 years old from the great state of Virginia. I live in Grottoes, Virginia. As I tell people that don't know where it's at, they was making a map and the ink dot fell, and they couldn't get it off. They had to name it something, so they called it Grottoes. And I've lived there my whole life. I'm married, got 3 kids. I'm just glad I married the woman I did because she puts up with a lot. And, hunting all the time, building dog boxes till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Never home, traveling. Like I tell people, behind every good business owner is a woman with a good job. Because, that's when a man told me that, if you own your own business, you ain't going to make a lot of money when you start. But, we just have fun doing it. And, I'm not the only one in the business. My buddy, Justin Zulik, we partnered up at the beginning and we started it. And he don't get to help quite as much as he used to because he's a paid firefighter and he's working a lot and getting overtime and stuff like that. So right now it's pretty much a one-man show, but, he helps out when he can. So it makes it easy when you get somebody that likes to TIG weld, and I don't like a TIG weld. So if you got something that needs TIG weld, I make him do it.
Yeah, that's for sure. So how did you get into coon hunting, or was it coon hunting that you got into to start with? Was it something else with Hale?
Well, I started off when I was a little boy. The man and woman that babysitted me, her husband was a rabbit hunter. Well, my wife tells everybody I was a preschool dropout. After 3 days of preschool, I told them I didn't want to be here no more. So they called her husband, and we started rabbit hunting, and that's how I kind of got into it. And then when we was in high school, a buddy of mine, he got a coon dog, so I was like, I'm gonna get me a coon dog. Well, there was a bear hunter there in town, and he had a blue tick and a plot that crossed. And Alvin, the old man that started rabbit hunting with me, he took me down there and I got him a puppy. And, I did everything every little kid does, making drags. And, I called my mom out in the yard, Mom, look at the dog, She was like, okay. But, that's how I started. And that dog, like every first dog, it never turned out to be anything, but it was fun. And then, I dealt with some dog traders like everybody does, and you run into some good ones and some bad ones. And I bought a English dog from a buddy of mine, and I mean, he was a nice dog, but he was a sorry tree dog, what he was. But I mean, he treated coons, but he just wasn't great. And then I went and bought a dog off a man there close to me that was a walker dog. He was 2 years old, and that was my first real competition dog. I made him a night champion. Pretty happy with that, and I had him till he was 14 years old. And I'd probably have to say, of all the dogs I've owned, that was probably the nicest dog I ever owned. Type of dog, if he was treated a mile and you didn't want to walk a mile, you holler for him, blew a whistle or toned him or something, and he'd, come to you. And, then I had after that I bought a plot dog when I started the job I was working. And he's a good dog too, but he wasn't no competition dog by any means, but he was a nice dog. Treated a lot of coons with him, and it was right after Christmas one year I was hunting him, and I wanted a video camera so I could record my before the YouTube stuff got. I wanted to record my dogs, and my mom and dad got me a nice little video camera and stuff, and I took him hunting and made a video with him. Well, 2 days later, I noticed he wasn't eating. And come to find out, he was packed full of cancer from his lungs to his whole intestines and everything. And as my vet told me, he said, the dog must really love you to hunt that hard and tree one coon for you, the shape he was in. And I had to put him down. And then I got to mess around, I got into bear hunting then. And, you get into bear hunting, you can't coon hunt and bear hunt. So I kind of backed off coon hunting. Living in Virginia, we can run bear dogs. And got to running bear dogs for a couple years pretty hard, and, that got expensive. Them vet bills ain't cheap when, you get one bear, choose one up, and you go in the vet, and, they tell you, $1,500, $2,000 to put one back together. And, I realized that was a little bit more expensive than what I wanted to do. So I got hooked in with a friend of mine, lives down in Blackstone, Virginia, Scott Morton, and he had a dog down there named Nottoway River Wipeout Ray. And I brought him up to the house there when he was about 18 years old and put him in the mountains and hunted him. And, like a typical wipeout dog, he wanted to trail. And in the mountains, that would make you, pull your hair out some nights. And he'd sit there and trail and trail and trail, and he'd finally get treed. And we got to hunting him, pushing him pretty hard, and we took him super stakes in 2 years, and we took him to the PKC World, and he did fairly well at all of them. He won cast and stuff like that. And, after that, you get married and you have kids, and how all that goes. You don't have time to do it all again. So the coon dogs got laid off, and got to doing things with the wife and the kids and stuff. And Ray got old, and when Ray died, I told myself, I ain't never going to another walker dog. So I turned around and got back into my English dogs. And, the line of English dogs I hunt, and don't nobody know about them. Same English dogs we coon hunt we bear hunt too. They're ink dogs, not very well known, but, they're nice dogs. And like every breed, line of dogs or whatever, ain't none of them perfect. They miss, they have coons, and don't all of them make it. But the good thing about that is when you live in a community where you can bear hunt, if you get a coon dog and it don't make a coon dog, you can give it to a bear hunter and it'll make a bear dog. At least good enough bear dog be a pack dog. And, and right now the dog that I'm hunting in the hunts here now, he was born in my basement. I was going to breed my female to my buddy Jonathan Scales, as he had a little English dog named Loctite Ranger. And I was going to breed to him, but they was at Autumn Oaks. And I was talking with him and a buddy of mine, Tommy Corbick, and I said, well, I wonder why I should bring Jazz to this time. She's in heat. I wanted to breed her to Ranger, but they're out there. And Tommy told me, he said, well, breed her to Amos. And I said, well, no, Amos, he's a nice dog, but, probably sorriest tree dog I've ever seen a day in my life. Big ball mouth dog, and, when he trees, he might be on the tree. When you get there, then you see him on the Garmin, he'll be out there 15 feet from the tree. And I said, I don't think that'd be a good cross, but I went ahead and did it anyway, so I figured that's free. It's there at the house. And I got 6 puppies out of it, and I got the Ranger dog I'm hunting now. I had him till he was about 4 or 5 months old, and I said, I ain't got time to mess with that puppy. So a man I know on Facebook there, he said, I'd like to get a coon dog. He said, I ain't never had a coon dog, but I'd like to have one. I said, well, you come down here and you buy this puppy, and, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. And he took him up there to New Jersey, and, me thinking, I said, New Jersey? There ain't no coons in New Jersey. Ain't nowhere to hunt up there. And he took him up there, and I started getting these videos of this little puppy, and, he's running treeing coons, 6 months old, 8 months old. And I told him, I said, I'm going to come home with this dog. So I went up there and we hunted with him, and I was impressed by him. And Joe started putting him in some PKC hunts, 1-2 PKC hunts with him. And he called me. He said, if you want to take Ranger and hunt him this summer, take him English days and hunt him, you can come get him and hunt him. I said, well, I'll come get him first in May. That'll give me a month to get him used to me. And as Joe told me, he was sending him to boot camp. Going to go down and see Grandpa go to boot camp. And I brought him down here and got him in Virginia there and got him going. And we come out here and hunted the first 2 nights out here, pleasure hunted on Monday and Tuesday last year at English days. And, he didn't look worth buying. And man I was out here hunting with, he said, I'd have to pay you to take that dog home if I was trying to buy it. And I said, well, thanks for the encouragement, Well, he didn't look very good on Wednesday. He didn't look good on Thursday here last year. Friday night he won his cast. And Saturday night we was out here and last year, and he ended up winning his cast. I showed up about 2 minutes late with a scorecard, and they wouldn't take my scorecard. And if I did the math in my head right, he'd have had 775 plus for the weekend out here. And I don't know where he would have ended up at, but he ended up a lot better than what he did. But I got him out here again this year, and he's fighting Lyme disease, and he ain't looking the best, but we're still here. You don't know till you try.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I know that Lymes and thyroid issues and stuff like that can be rough on one, and especially if it's hot. So I guess the good thing is it's a little cooler this year. And it's not too hot. It's a little muggy, but it ain't too terribly hot. That's for sure.
No, it's nice.
So do you remember, was your first cast in UKC or PKC when you first started competition hunting?
The first cast was a UKC hunt, and as all first ones go, it's an educational experience. You go there thinking, man, my dog runs the trees. It's going to look good. I'm going to win this thing. You get in there, and it's like, well, how come I didn't get these points? How come I didn't get that point? But, you learn. And I probably went through, couldn't tell you how many casts I got before I got my first cast win. It's kind of one of them things where you're traveling around, going to them hunts, and you ain't winning, and you're like, well, this ain't worth it no more. And then you think, well, I'll go to one more. Keep going to one more, and eventually, you just mess up and you win one. Then the next thing you know, you start clicking them off and winning with dogs, and it just makes it fun.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. I mean, I've won a few, but for the most part, I've not won a whole lot of big stuff. I did place in an AKC World Qualifier when I was 16 with a black dog I had, and it just I was like you. I was going, instead of reading the rule book, I was going to pay to get the rules read to me. I was getting them, whatever it was, $20 at a time back then, or $15 at a time. I don't remember now what it was, but I was getting it one lesson at a time on a Friday or Saturday night.
Oh yeah, that's somebody asked me, well, you don't bench show your dogs? I said I tried it twice, and that ain't for me. I said, if my dog stands on the wood, it stands on plow or pine, oak, poplar, or telephone pole, and they got their feet wrapped around, that's the only wood they need to learn to stand on. I said, I'm not a bench shower, and my dogs, by the time I get them old enough to go to a hunt, coons tore them up and stuff. It ain't the prettiest looking thing you ever seen walk in there, and it's just bench show. I mean, some of them guys, they like it and go on with it, but that just ain't for me. But I reckon if you got an ugly dog and you look like me, you kind of makes your dog look a lot better at the end of the day.
Well, we just walked up from the show barn here, and they really did have some nice dogs down there, and that's the great thing about our sport. I'm sitting down there and talking to some guys that I've never met them before until today, and everybody just treats you like you know everybody, and it don't matter if you're showing dogs, if you're showing and hunting, or if you're just showing or just hunting. Everybody, just having a good time talking and encouraging everyone. There was a young lady down there that showed against some adults, and I don't know how old she was, but she was a young lady, and she done really really well. And man, everybody in that show barn come alive whenever she won her class down there. So, and that's one of the great things about our sport. If you don't want to hunt, you can show. If you don't want to show, you can hunt. Or if you want to do both, you can.
Oh yeah, and you meet some of the best people you're ever gonna meet here. You might make them mad in a hunt, but you see them the next day, they talk to you. Hey, it was a good hunt we had. Sorry I did this or I did that. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. You just try and do what you do. But for the most part, you get in them casts and you have a good time. Like the cast we had last night, it was me and another boy that drove in here from Virginia. We both made that 11-hour drive in here, and
then had to hunt together.
they had to hunt together. I said we live within an hour and a half, 2 hours of each other, and here we are in the cast. And I said, well, hopefully one of us Virginia boys win, and he won his cast with 175 last night. And another buddy of mine, Kevin Moore, both his dogs won an invitational last night, and he got in the Final Four. And I'm happy for him. Like I said, if I can't win, if somebody knows wins, I'm happy, and if I don't even know you, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, and that's sometimes you get on Facebook, or maybe people that don't hunt get on Facebook and they see, I've been cheated here, I've been cheated there. There's a bunch of crooks in competition hunting, and I've been kind of in and out and around competition hunting for close to 30 years, and I can. Honestly, there was one cast I thought I was cheated on, but I was like 17 years old when it happened, and now that I look back, I probably didn't know the rules.
Oh.
And that's probably, instead of being cheated, that's probably what happened, is I didn't know the rules good enough. And that's that's a stigma that's been put out there and flaunted on the internet, that it's just a bunch of crooks at competition hunt, and this registry is this and this registry is that, and they all have their issues and their holes. And I don't agree with anything that all of them says all the time, but I agree with what most of them say. And the most important thing is, if you know the rules, you go out there, you be a sportsman and learn to be a good loser. You can come out ahead eventually, and you can make some friends along the way, and that's what it's about.
Oh yeah, like I tell people. People say, well, I don't like hunting PKC, I don't know the rules. I said, they're all pretty much the same. You strike him and you train. And if you get there, you got a coon, you circle it, or, you get a circle or a minus. It's all pretty simple. Just, little points change, little time changes, and, different little rules like leash locks and things like that. But I said, at the end of the day, they're all basically the same thing. Sometimes you got to learn as you go, but they got a rule book for a reason.
Yeah, that's it. You need to get the rule book, and get it out and learn it. I know we were talking before I hit record. I interviewed Braxton Wheels, and we're going to have to redo it because for whatever reason my recorder didn't record, even though it was showing that it did. He's a young kid, but he's stuck it out. He's learned the rules. He's studied the rules. He's put himself in cast situations with grown men. He's beat me twice, by the way. I've drawn him twice in 2 different states, and he's beat me both times. He's a very good competitor. He's got a very good hound. But that's what it's about. You got to get out there and know the rules. And if there's a young person in that cast, you really need to hold yourself to another standard. I'm not saying, hold back and let that young person, win, but hold yourself to a sportsman's standard. So when they see you out there operating, they're like, you know what, we were out there being competitive and I lost, but you know what, them were some good guys I was hunting with.
Oh yeah, that's like Thursday night out here, or Wednesday night out here at RQE. I was sitting there and I was 325 negative. I was like, man, this is pitiful. But I said, I ain't going out. And I said, it's like a bar. You throw me out the front door or the back door. You got to throw me out before I leave. And I was sitting there and, my dog was there, and I took second strike, and I could hear him come on a tree. And I said, well, there's another dog down in there. I said, maybe it'll get treed with it. I said, that man's sitting at 0, maybe he'll get a little bit of that tree. And I was sitting there, and the judge was kind of looking at me. I said, you've got to put stationary on me, I reckon. He said, well, I said, I don't think he sounds right. About that time that other man's dog come on the tree, I let him tree first. And I took second tree, and he said, man, the guy come up and said, man, your dog looked good, but that handling was pretty crappy. I said, I'm not the smartest man with the math or pencil and the paper, but I said, there's no way I can win this thing. I said, I'm just out here because I'm guiding you, and I want to make sure y'all have a good time and know where you're at, don't get y'all in no trouble. And I said, you can win the cast. You might not get the score you want, but, you're going to get a plus score. I said, to me, you don't see many people that's willing to say, well, I'll let that man win. But if you can't mathematically win, don't sit there and take somebody's points that they can get.
Yeah, and that's part of being a sportsman, out on the cast. And, when you're beat, you just beat. I mean, that's what it is. And, you know, I get frustrated if I beat myself, in my own handling. But it really frustrates me when, you got a dog that can operate better than what they're doing. And they're out there, not operating just right. It really makes you think, what's going on with that dog? Is it, kind of like yours dealing with Lyme disease or, or lichia or thyroid issues or, whatever. I know my buddy, he's got a red tick English male, and he don't competition hunt at all. He's been on some previous podcast, and he does my music for, that I do in the background of all my stuff. And man, he's a jam up coon dog, but he just all of a sudden started slick treeing, and he was going to get on him pretty hard and went and have him tested for thyroid. It was so low it wouldn't even show up. I mean, he was just that bad sick. And thankfully, he called me yesterday or texted me yesterday and said he about got him straightened out, and so hopefully he'll be able to get back to hunting him. But when you have those issues, with those dogs, don't. I just caution people, don't jump the gun before you check your dog. And as a handler, you need to do your best to call your dog the way he does. And if you ain't got no place to win, if you're in the hole and there ain't no way out, then you need to let the guy that's got the chance to get some points on there to call his dog the way he needs to call him. And don't try to cut him here or there.
No, I mean, if you can't win, there's really no use to try to. Some people say, well, yeah, you should have just withdrew. I could have, but it was 15 minutes left in the whole hunt. I want to walk along. I like watching dogs work. I mean, that's why, some people say, well, I don't know how you like a dog like you like them. I said, well, I don't want them silent, but I want them to give me enough mouth to know where they're at. But, going back to the point there, sportsmanship is the key to it. If you go out and you have good casts, you have good ones and bad ones. But, sportsmanship is what, you got to, like you said, you got to learn to win, you got to learn to lose, because you're going to lose a lot more than you win in life, no matter what you're doing. So, that's just what you got to do. You got to learn to win and lose. And that's what I tell my kids. We do show animals, market hogs, market lambs, things like that. And, they get mad when they don't win. I said, you can't win them all. I said, at the end of the night, when you're showing animals, it's one man's opinion. Here's just one dog might be better at night. And, you might draw that dog next night and might be reversed opposite. Your dog might look like $1 million. And theirs looks like, ain't worth paying $1 for.
Well, being you brought up show hogs, you can appreciate this story that I'm fixing to tell. Me and my brother showed hogs all the way through high school. Mm-hmm. And some of my friends now know me. I'm a trader. I'll trade for this or that. And my brother-in-law says I wouldn't give him nothing because he'll turn around and trade it and make $100 off of it or whatever. And that's just, I don't know, that's just where I am. I'll do some swapping or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I got this Walker dog from a dog trader, and we had raised dog pens that had plywood floors in them, and we had our show hogs about ready for show. And I went and picked this dog up, and we had to go to school that next week. I had him during the weekend, treat a couple coons with him. And, of course, I'm in South Alabama, and there's hogs aplenty down there. And so I went out that morning, worked the hogs, went to school, come back. And when I got back in the afternoon, I always fed the dogs when I got home from school. And so I went through, started feeding dogs, and I got to his pen. It was empty. He had chewed a hole through the plywood floor and killed every show hog we had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, needless to say, my stepdad is the one that helped me and my stepbrother with these hogs. He was not very happy with me for going to a dog trader and getting this dog, because obviously he liked hogs better than he liked coons, and he had to find him a new address to go to for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I tell people. They say, well, I can't believe you spend money on them animals like hog show animals. I said, well, it ain't for me. I said, it's for the kids. But I said, I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do a show animal, show hog, we're going to go try to win. I don't like to lose. I might tell my kids, hey, it's okay, just take it on the chin. But at the end of the day, I'm a competitive person. And, if somebody tells me, like, in a hunt or something like that, your dog don't look very good. Well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to fine tune that thing. And I'm going to hunt you down in a hunt. And I'm going to prove to you that, he's a lot better than what he was. He was having a bad night.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what it's about. Is finding out what your holes are, whether it's in you or the dog or whatever, and working on those things. Pleasure hunting or in some smaller comp hunts or whatever. Is we always have to be prepared. I know a lot of times if I'm trying to get ready to go to a hunt, which has become such a habit now to run a stopwatch that I'm always running a stopwatch on my dogs, just so I kind of know what they're operating at and what time limits they're operating at, and getting ready. And that's what it's about for people out there that are maybe just deciding whether to get into competition hunting or not. I mean, you kind of got to prepare. You got to prepare you and your dog that way, to what kind of the way that hunt format's set up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like say if you're going to take a dog and you want to start PKC hunting. I've always been, any dog can tree a coon, right after dark when coons are moving. But your money's won in the late round. So, I'll take a dog and hunt it for hour and a half, 2 hours, put it in a dog box, take another dog out and hunt it, then bringing both them dogs back out, 3 o'clock in the morning, cut one loose. And if that dog can go in there and operate like it did earlier, you got something you can compete with. I mean, that's just old man told me at one time, I said, oh, you're full of it. I said, dog tree a coon no matter what. He said, them coons that move at 3 o'clock a little bit different than coons that move at dark.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it gives you an opportunity to see, can your dog tree one that's already up, or is he only treeing the hot ones? And I mean, you can kind of find out what's going on there, because he may not always find a hot one. It could be negative and snow blowing, and they may be in for the night. So
oh yeah. I mean, I tell people most of the dogs that live at my house, if they can't take a 4 to 6 hour old truck, they don't live there very long. Because like I said, we use the same line of dogs that we coon hunt to bear hunt with, and being a bear dog, you're going to have to take 6, 8 hour old tracks, and you're going to have to hold up to, 8, 10 mile race. That, and that's one good thing about the line of dogs we hunt. They can take that stuff, and they hope their feet is good, and that's the way I like them. I mean, sometimes it bites you in the butt, but, in them late rounds or something like that, the dog hit an old track and go beating and banging around in there for an hour, you don't even get treat.
yeah, and talking about that, we in Missouri last year we had our first bear season, which we cannot run dogs. But do you condition those dogs differently than you do your coon dogs, or you just conditioning them all the same? Are you road running them any, or what do you do to get those dogs ready and prepared for that?
Well, where we live out there in Virginia, we're 45 minutes from West Virginia, and 3 hours from North Carolina. And a buddy of mine, Jonathan, lives down in Southern Virginia. There, he runs Virginia and North Carolina bear season because he's 5 minutes from the line. But, most time, I know Jonathan does it a lot. He got the treadmill. Put them dogs on a treadmill and let them run on a treadmill. Or he'll go to Carolina and, try to run them, much as he can, or things like that. But, up our way, a lot of times we just take them, put them out on the road there and let them run the road or something and keep them in shape, or put them on a treadmill. Or, there you see some of them guys, they got them swimmers and dog walkers and things. You just do what you got to do. But, you got to have a dog that's got good feet to run them bear, and that can hold up and has the stamina. But when they get there after they done run 8 miles, something like that, and they run in there and the bear don't want to climb up a tree, they got to have enough grit to, if you don't want to climb, to make him hold, stay there at least till you can get in there, or at least make him climb. And, some people say, you can take anything and make it a bear dog. Well, anything to run a bear, because they smell like an old greasy trash can running. But, it takes a little bit different breed of dog to hold up to the mountains and things like that, to take him cold tracks and, run them and get them jumped and get them started and keep up with them.
Yeah, I've never been around that. I've been around some hog dogs, and of course, coming from Alabama, I've been around, deer dogs and of course coon dogs. And, I've never been around bear dogs. I knew they got to have a little grit to them, and they definitely got to have some stamina to stay up with them. But, before we get too far off topic here, let's talk about how CZ Custom Dog Boxes come about, because I'm gonna tell you my first impression of laying my eyes on this dog box is it's built like a tank, but it looks good too, and I really like it. So let's talk about how that was birthed, and kind of how you got started, and kind of what it looks like today.
Well, it started with, as I tell people, most good ideas start with when two idiots meet and a bad idea happens. And Justin, my partner in this, he was doing a aluminum welding job for a guy. His kids show animals, and he was building in the trailer to got the little pins in there to keep them separate. Well, he was building that, and I was over helping him, and he said, I got this tubing left over. He said, because I was wanting to get a dog box built. He said, you want to build a dog box? I said, well, yeah, what's the worst thing that can happen? Don't work, don't look good, don't matter to me. So we went and built my first dog box that I'd ever had, custom built. We built it ourselves. And we was building that thing, and I said, there ain't nobody around here that builds dog boxes no more. I said, all the man that used to do the custom dog boxes, he quit. I said, you might be able to make some money. Well, he said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Well, $35,000 later, we got a dog box business started. And, it was kind of, it's been kind of rough the first couple of years of it. You're trying to pay off your debt and try to get yourself a little money. And, for a while there, we was working for free, basically. We working, I was working a full-time job, working 10, 12-hour days, and go do that, come home, feed dogs, see my wife, see my kids, and run the shop, start building dog boxes, working on dog boxes. And, it took a while, and it was a little slow at the beginning. And a buddy of mine, he's a dog hauler, Jason Turner. He said, man, he's had on his Facebook page, I'm looking for somebody to build me a 3-hole dog box. I said, well, I can do that. He said, you ever built a dog box? I said, got one. He said, how's it look? I said, still together. He said, all right, then. He said, build me a little 3-hole dog box. He said, I want that thing. I want it watertight. Don't want no water getting in. I said, gotcha. Well, we built that dog box, and, just a little old 3-hole smooth dog box. And we built it for him, and he called me and said, I got a problem with this dog box. I said, man, what's wrong with it? He said, well, you built it to keep the water out, but he said, I left the door cracked in it. It got some water in it. He said, now the water can't get out. I said, well, you told me you wanted it watertight. I figure you want it, if water gets in, you got to figure out how to get it out. But, he was happy with it, and we did another dog trailer for him. We remodeled the dog trailer and added some holes to it, and next thing you know, it just starts growing and growing and growing. And, we've built some dog boxes. Last year, a buddy of mine, James Atwell, owns Nighttime Hunting Supply. He contacted me, said, why don't you build me some dog boxes, bring them out here at PKC Nationals? I'm like, all right, yeah, we'll do that. So we made a big order, got all the aluminum in, built them dog boxes, and I get out there, and he's like, man, these things, they're nice dog boxes, but y'all go do something with these tops. They're grabbing, hoping they're wobbling. I'm like, oh, He's like, I can't sell these things. I'm like, I don't want to take them back. He said, well, tell me what your boys got in them, and I'll give you what you got in them. And he said, go home and prove this. He said, bring me some more super steaks. I said, all right. Well, we went home and got at it and worked on, making the dog boxes a little bit better. And, it just kind of took off from there. And, I don't mind building the top storage dog box, which I would like to. They're simple, easy to build. But, as I tell people, when you call me about a dog box, they say, well, can you build this? Can you build that? And I'm like, hey, you dream it, we build it, and your dream becomes my nightmare. And it might take me, 3 days to make your nightmare come true, or it might take me a week. But, I enjoy the dog boxes that are challenged. Somebody says they want this and they want it a certain way. And, they said they talked to somebody and they couldn't build it and didn't want to do it that way. Or they called me and they got a price and, I'm $2,000 cheaper. And I had a boy from North Carolina call me and he said, you build me a dog box like this? I said, yeah, I can build you one. He said, how long you going to need my truck? I said, I ain't going to need the truck at all. He said, what do you mean? I said, if you can ride up here, we can get all the measurements we need. And you can take 2 hours out of your day, drive 4 hours up here, and we can get this thing built. He comes up and gets these measurements, and he pulls up, and we slide his dog box on. I'm like, man, we got a problem. He said, what? I said, it ain't fitting right. He said, why? I said, this is one thing we didn't do. He said, well, you gonna have to tear it all back apart. I said, no, we'll get it fixed up and we can pull it. If I build something and you don't like it, bring it back to me and I'll build you a new one or give you your money back. It don't bother me one way or the other. And he said, he wanted 3 times this amount of money to get it built. He said, why you do them so cheap? I said, well, the way I look at it is a hound hunter's a working man. And at the end of the day, you got to take care of a working man because, they got bills to pay. They can't go out here and drop, they're not millionaires. They can't go out here and drop, $4,000 or $5,000 on a dog box just to haul, sorry old dog around in. Old man always told me, you can have a $5,000 dog box, but you might only have $5 worth of dogs in the inside. So I said, if somebody wants a shiny dog box, I'd be more happy to build them a shiny dog box. But now I can't guarantee you that the dogs they put in them is going to be the best, but hey, at least they look good going down the road. It's all that matters.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's the reason why I was being serious when I made the commercial dog boxes built by hunters for hunters. And because I knew you hunted, I knew you used your dog box that you used, and some of the people you told me that used the dog boxes you used. And man, I wouldn't be disappointed to tell anybody that they needed to get a dog box because it is definitely quality made. It's made right the way it should be made. With the tubing and the aluminum covers and stuff. It's just not some aluminum welded together.
No, we, all of our dog boxes, we build tube top to bottom. Even our, slide-in top storage boxes, they're tubed from the bottom, even around the top where the top storage folds down, they're tube frame. And, I figure, when the first dog box we built, me and a buddy of mine was coon hunting one night, and we was going up through the mountains, and I was sitting on the back of my truck on the tailgate riding up through where I stand up and crawl on top of the dog box. He said, what are you doing? I said, just keep going about 25 miles an hour. I want to see something. He said, why? I said, I'm going to see how good this thing's put together. Well, I just grabbed a dog box, throw it off the back, watch it go flopping down the road. He said, man, you kicked your dog box off. I said, let's go down here and pick it up and see if it's still in one piece. And we go down there and pick it up. Doors, everything's still working. Got a couple little dents in it. But I said, hey, it's still in one piece, ain't it? He said, yeah. I said, well, now I can tell somebody, I said, my dog boxes, if they fall off, they should stay together. But, I'm rough on a dog box. I got one built for myself. Like I tell people, I said, I'm the only man that builds dog boxes. Got the sorriest looking dog box he's ever built, but it's on the back of my truck because, I'm rough on them. I don't pick them up and set them on nothing. When I take them off my truck, I grab it by the door handles and grab that thing and pull it straight up and let it drop off the back of the truck right on the ground. And I said, if you're going to build something, you better build something and make it work, and you better stand behind what you do. And like I tell everybody, you buy a dog box and something's wrong with it, we fix it, and we stand behind our job and our work. And as long as you're the original owner, if something breaks on it other than the latches and the hinges, I don't make them, so I can't stand behind them, but I'll get you some more. And, if welds break or craftsmanship's crappy, we'll fix it back for you.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything better than that. And I think you're the only person I ever heard that their dog box is county road approved and tested. So
Yeah.
I think that's a testament to it itself. And I'm telling you, it's a very well built dog box. And like I said at the beginning, like I told you, I'm going to put together a YouTube video, and we're going to show the inside of it and the outside of it, so people can actually see what you're doing over there, and reach out to you and get them a dog box built, because they won't be disappointed, that's for sure.
No, I don't think it will. I've had some people call me and leave me nasty messages, but that's just because they bought a hound box and stuck a beagle in it, and he'd get stuck in it. And I offer to fix them, and some of them they get fixed, and some of them they don't worry about it. But if I build something and you don't like it, bring it back to me, and I'll build you a new one or give you your money back. It don't bother me one way or the other. But my granddad always told me, if you're going to do something, don't halfway do it. If you're going to dig a hole with a spoon, you dig that hole with a spoon, you make it look good. If you dig it with a post hole drill, you make sure it's clean. You might have to take that spoon, get dirt out the bottom up, but make it look good. Don't just half do anything in your life. Because if you start doing that and you set your standards low, bad things happen. And my goal is to eventually one day have a shop big enough where I got a couple people working for me, and we're building some nice dog boxes that maybe we can afford one day to haul a trailer across the country and drop a load of dog boxes off. But for right now, we barely afford to get the truck out here to Illinois to drop one dog box off for somebody.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was going to say. You didn't pull up here in no big shiny truck with a big trailer with a bunch of dog boxes on there trying to sell them to people. You're on your pickup, and with my dog box on the back of it, and you're here to compete. You're here to hunt, and you're not just a vendor sitting up to sell. I mean, I know you would like to be there one day, but
Oh, yeah.
but you're here to hunt. You're a hunter, and that's important when it comes to selling a product to other hunters because you know what they need.
Yeah, and that's what a friend of mine, Tommy Corbett, told me one time. He said, you're going to have to quit delivering them dog boxes to them guys. I said, what? He said, you don't want a man that does it. I said, exactly. I said, if, you live 8 hours away from them, you want a dog box. If I can find another dog box down that area, I'll put them both on the back of the pickup truck. I'll meet you halfway. Or if there's some good hunting down that way, invite me down and go hunting. I'll bring a dog and a dog box and we'll come hunting. I mean, this year when I went to the Winter Classic down there, I built a dog box for Todd Sailors, lives in Georgia. And he said, well, how am I going to get my dog box to me? I said, well, I'll bring it to you. He said, all right. Well, I built his dog box and dropped it off at his front door and put it in his Jeep area he hunts out of. And, like people said, they said, well, I can't believe you took a dog box down that far. I said, going that way, might as well take it with me. I mean, it wasn't exactly going that way. I mean, I was about 6-7 hours out of the way, but hey, south, I had to go across Alabama to get to Batesville, so it's not that bad of a drive.
Yeah, well, so the goal for the dog box business is to eventually build it up where you got some people working for you, where you can get out to these hunts, maybe bring some dog boxes around in the future. But until then, you can go over to the Facebook page, CZ Custom Dog Boxes. Tell what the Facebook page is again.
It's CZ Custom Dog Boxes and Fabrications. We got a Facebook page, and we got some pictures on there. Not all the dog boxes we've ever built, but it's kind of hard to build dog boxes and take a picture and post it on there. And as my wife said, well, you can take 5 minutes to send me a Snapchat. You can't take 5 minutes to put it on Facebook? No, because usually when I'm sending you a Snapchat, I'm making sure that you know where I'm at, know what I'm doing. But you can go to our Facebook page there and look us up, and we got a phone number on there. If you want to message us, you can, or give me a call. I always like hearing people when they call me, talking to them, because I'm a talker. I like to talk. Before it's all said and done, I know about your dogs, what kind of dogs you hunt, and where you live at. We, talked to a man the other day from Maine for 3.5 hours about the line of bear dogs he runs and how he hunts and all the bear that he killed and all that stuff. And I just like talking to people when they call me. So I like when people call me, and, but I don't mind getting in Facebook messages because it's nice because Facebook messages, I can keep up track of it. And if I forget something, I can go back and look at it.
Yeah. So y'all just operating off the Facebook page right now. You don't have a website set up?
Not yet. No, we're going to try to get one set up when we get a couple 5 minutes to take care of that stuff.
Hey, I understand. Hey, I'm a small business owner myself, and it was rough just to be able to get off today to get up here. And so I understand when you leave your business behind to go somewhere, it's rough to get caught back up when you get back, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Take a week to come have some fun and coon hunting. You'd sitting there the whole time. I'm out here thinking, man, when I get back, I took a week off, so I'm 3 weeks behind. I told them guys they could have a dog box done in, next 6-8 weeks. So I'm sitting there thinking, I said, well, I better enjoy this little bit of time I'm out here, because when I get back, it's some 20-hour days and, just welding and going at it and trying to get everybody dog boxes caught up. But, it's just what you do. And, hopefully the man that's you're building a dog box for understands, every man needs a break.
Yeah.
At least I'm not going to the beach or nothing. I'm coming out here and doing something I like, because I send my wife and my kids to the beach for a week and I stayed home.
Yeah. Well, and the key word here in this is custom dog box. So you have some like standard top bottom storage dog box you built, but when you ask for a custom dog box, sometimes that takes a little longer depending on what they want. So that people need to understand that it's custom dog box when they want something different than just a stock type product.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll build your standard, like I said, slide in, top storage, bottom storage dog boxes, but most of the stuff we do are for bear hunters or deer hunters or things like that they want to build them over the rail boxes. And, they want storage at certain spots. They want this, they want that. And, so sometimes those take a little bit longer than what it should, because you think, well, I can knock this thing out in 3 days. Where you got an idea and a game plan going into it, and, it's like a football game. By halftime, you're like, this ain't working. And, next thing you know, you might have to tear a whole dog box back apart, just because the idea you had how to put something together didn't exactly go as planned. So you got to take, something out of it to put what you was trying to get in there in, because it's a little tighter than what you thought. But, it's sometimes people don't understand that, just because, I say, well, I can have it done by the end of the week. Well, end of the week to me is on Sunday. And then if Sunday ain't the end of the week, I'll tell them end of the week's on Monday. Because, sometimes, but like you said, it takes a little bit longer on certain styles of dog boxes. But, the more we've built, the quicker we get at them. And, it's like somebody calls and they just want your standard over the rail with 2 doors, divider, and a rig. I can kind of knock that out pretty quick. They don't take very long. I mean, for one man building them, sometime most of the time, 4 days for a dog box to get built. By the time I start to finish, that's not a bad time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, did we miss anything on the dog box side of it?
No, we got where 2 idiots met and we built a dog box company.
Okay. And how long y'all been doing this now?
Going on about 4 years now, I think. 3.5, 4 years.
And that's full-time or part-time and full-time?
I've been doing it full-time. I quit my job, and I kept telling them I was going to quit. I'm quitting. I'm going to build a dog box. Like, oh, yeah, sure, Nathan, whatever. Well, last day of November, bear season started on that Monday. I told him, I said, I ain't going to be here on Monday. He said, oh, you got vacation? I said, yeah, something like that. And we turned around, and I quit my job that day. And I got home, my wife said, well, did you give him 2 weeks? I said, yeah, something like that. I just started my weld him and then where I was welding at and walked out the door, and they called me and they said, well, is everything okay? You gonna come back? You sick or anything? I said, yeah, something like that. I said, I'll let you know in about 2 weeks if I'm coming back. I said, just give me a little bit of time, make sure this is the right decision. And after about a week and a half of bear hunting, I said, I can work for myself. I can hunt and do things like that. I won't be that busy, but, now it seems like, I'm working just as many hours as I did working 2 jobs as I do working for myself. But that's part of being a, business owner like yourself. Sometimes you think 8-hour days is going to be great working for yourself, but them 8-hour days turn into 10 turns into 12, turns into 16 and 18s. And next thing you know, you're sleeping in a couch in the shop, and you wake up, you're still laying where you sit down and take a rest at a couple minutes, go look at something on your phone. You wake up and it's daylight, and you done spent the night in the shop, and you get back up and go back to work.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the life of a business owner for sure. You gotta make hay while the sun's shining. That's the name of the game for sure. Well, do you got a funny or serious coon hunting story you can share with us before we wrap this up? One you can pick out?
I got a bunch of them, but well, it was probably about, I want to say about 3 or 4 months ago. A buddy of mine used to coon hunt back when he was in high school with me. He said, so you gonna go coon hunting tonight? I said, yeah, we'll go coon hunting. I said, we'll go over here, spot I got, Well, we pull in there and park, and we go coon hunting. We come out, there's somebody standing there with a flashlight. And I said, man, I wonder who this is. Well, it was the one that lives across the road. She said, well, I called a law on y'all for trespassing. I said, well, that's fine, That's cool. She said, cop be here in a minute. I said, well, that's probably him coming down the road right there, ain't it? She said, yeah. And I look at my buddy. He's over just shaking his head. He's like, man, he said, I ain't been with you coon hunting probably about 10 years, and we're going to get in trouble again just like we did last time. I said, hey, we're fine. Don't worry about it. Cop comes up, checks my license, and stuff like that. And he tells the woman, he's on the opposite side of this road. You don't own it. You can't get him for trespass. Well, we're pulling back out of there, and he looks over at me. He goes, it'll probably be another 10 years before I go coon hunting with you. They said, why? He said, maybe by then we won't get in no trouble. I said, dog can't read where he goes, but I said, at least we have permission on this one. Ain't like it was a couple years back when you went with him. We didn't have permission to be there.
Yeah, that's for sure. The dog don't read the no trespassing sign. They just keep going.
No, like I tell people, I said, if a dog could read and he saw that no trespassing sign, he'd quit every coon track he comes to. But I said, I think he looks at that thing. He said, it means it's go twice as far across this one. Let's get on the next one, too. So we got to walk across 2 places we don't have permission to be at. But, I mean, that's one of the benefits of being in the state of Virginia. We have the right to retrieve law. So if my dog goes off the piece of property, as long as I make the attempt to try to knock on the door, but depending on what time it is, I'm not going to come up and knock on somebody's door at, 3 o'clock in the morning. Because if you knock on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to see somebody answer the door is not happy. And nobody wants to get answered, see somebody open the door up standing there in a t-shirt and underwear. And, I said, I try to make attempts like that, but, I try to hunt places that you don't get in that situation. But sometimes, you get people that move into the area and they don't know nothing about coon hunting. And, some of them, they don't want to be that way, but it's just the way they are. But once you talk to them and you're respectful to somebody, a lot of times, even if you don't have permission and they, you're coming across their land and something like that, once you get to talking to them, sometimes you can gain permission. Or, especially when you got somebody's wife that sitting there and said, well, if you'd let him coon hunt, them coons wouldn't get in the trash can in the backyard and you wouldn't have to be picking up trash. And he's like, I never thought about that. You might it might only be an acre, but that's something that you don't have to worry about dealing with in the future. But
Yeah. And I know what you mean there, because I got a spot that I've got a couple 100 acres and there's 15 acres right in the middle of it that I don't have permission on, and it just kind of comes up into that 100 that I got permission to hunt on. And thankfully my dogs are tone broken, and I do. I mean, Clay Newcomb uses the phrase guard the gate, and I kind of say be a good neighbor. So if a man gives me permission to hunt somewhere, say he's got 100 acres I can hunt, and there's some people around it that's got 5 acres, 10 acres, I try to go around to those houses and talk to those people during the daytime, and tell them what I'm doing, and kind of try to feel them out, to see, because I don't really want a confrontation in the woods at midnight either. I'm out there trying to enjoy myself and maybe work on some things with my dog, and I don't want to have to be worried about, as a landowner, gonna come in here and be mad. So I always try to take some time during the day on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon, or maybe even during the week if I'm off where I can, and if I see somebody at home, stop, knock on the door, introduce myself to them, and just tell them, hey, so and so, give me permission to hunt over here, and I'm going to be hunting, and I'll try my best to keep my dog off of you, but I wanted you to know, if you see some lights out there across the field or in the woods or whatever, what's going on out there. Just try to cut down on some of the confrontation.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's like the worst part about living in the country now. The farms that used to be there when I was younger to coon hunt, those farmers have got out of it or give it to their kids, or they've died off, and the kids don't want to farm. So they turn around, they sell it to somebody. Well, that person buys it and sells off, 5-10 acre tracts off that farm. Well, you lose that spot. And, I mean, in Virginia, we can run coon all year long, but we can't run in the mountains but during the kill seasons and training seasons. So, it's just, it's getting tougher and tougher to find spots to hunt. And, and it depends on what part of the state of Virginia you want to go hunt in. In my area, it's kind of mountainous and farmland in the river bottoms and stuff. Most of the farmers let you hunt because they don't want the coons in there, eating their corn, tearing up their stuff. And you go across the mountain over in eastern Virginia, you can go over and get on them deer clubs and join them and run, 5,000-6,000 acres. But there are a lot of cutovers, and, it's just rough hunting. You got little creek banks, and a lot of that over there, sometimes you run into somebody that moved in from the city that retired, and they don't want to hear a dog bark, and they've had bad experiences with some other group of guys. And I said, like I told somebody one time, I said, there's bad apples in every batch that they go in there and they ruin it for somebody, and next thing you know, places you used to be able to go, say if you was running bear dogs and they went on somebody's property that owns on the mountain, you used to be able to ride up there and just knock on the door and be like, can I go? And they're like, yeah, take a truck back here and get your bear dogs. Well, somebody come in there and didn't knock on the door, took 7 or 8 loads of people in there, turned around, tore something up, and come back out. Now you can't even go in there. They tell you, don't even ask. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to be able to, be polite and try to. If a situation starts to get a little tense, crack a joke, just try to make them relaxed and try to be a good Samaritan. and, try to represent, people that hound hunt in a little bit better eye form than what they've dealt with before.
Yeah, and we used to the job I worked for, all my own business. We would have to do some cleanup, and we would always say, let's leave it better than what it was when we got here, and that's kind of the motto I even take in today with my business and with hound hunting. I mean, I've got a couple hundred acres that I actually got permission on. I think I told this on the interview I done with Mr. A.L. McSwain, but I got permission to hunt there because the guy's cows got out, and I lived down that way, and I just stopped and said, "Hey man, do you need a hand?" And it was hot. He was give out, and he's like, "Yeah, if you don't mind, would you help me get these cows put in?" And so I helped him get the cows put in, and we helped him get his fence fixed where they wouldn't get out. And he seen the dog box in the back of my truck and started asking me about it. I told him, and he went in his truck, got a key, and brought it to me. He said, "Here you go." And I said, "What's this?" And he said, "This is the key to the gate. You can coon hunt anywhere you want to on there." And that's just by being a neighbor. And that's something that's important, that we don't just need to be dumping dogs somewhere that we don't need to be. And, like I said, I mean, I try to take the time. We can't always do it, but I always try to take the time to talk to most everybody around there and let them know what I'm doing, because like I said, I don't want to have that confrontation in the woods in the middle of the night. And a lot of times, not a lot of times, some of the times I got my kids with me, and I don't really want somebody walking in there with a gun, with my kids, in there with me either. So I try to eliminate all of that I can. You can't eliminate it all. There's always going to be that one or two here or there, but we need to make sure we're doing our parts as hound hunters, whether it's coon hunting, deer hunting, bear hunting, hog hunting, it don't matter.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I've always told any person I get permission from that has a farm. Call me anytime you need me. If you baling hay and you can't get no high school kids to come, it's been a while, but I can still throw a square bell. And I don't look forward to it, but I can still throw them. Can't throw them with the best of them anymore, but I can still get it done. And, if they need help building the fence, or, if they're going out of town, they want somebody just to check over the house, ride by the house, make sure ain't nothing going on. It might be 30 miles out of my way. But if that's what you call and ask me to do, I'll ride by there, just make it apparent. You're like, well, I might go over and go hunting tonight while you're gone. I'll check on whatever. If you need me to water your yard or flowers or something like that, if you ain't got nobody to do it. I mean, I don't like watering flowers, but if that's what you ask me to do, I'll come over and do it because you give me the permission and stuff. So, I mean, it's just what you got to do. You got to, treat it, like you said, try to leave it better than what you find it. Just like I told my little girls when I was coaching them in, minor league softball this year, try to leave it dug up better when you found it. If you see a piece of bubble gum, pick it up, throw it in the trash can. And that's when you called me about asking me about doing that sponsorship. Brett called and asked me, he said, "Hey, would you be interested in sponsoring this podcast?" I said, "Well, yeah, sure, tell him, call me." He said, "What are you doing anyways?" I said, "I got my daughter up here, she's taking softball pitching lessons." He said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, it's kind of like a puppy trainer. You let them go in there and let somebody else deal with a headache and make them good, and when they're done with it, you just sit there and take all the credit for it. Say, man, look, you turned out pretty good, didn't it?" Brett got a giggle out of that. He said, "Oh, you think of it like that." I said, "Kind of way I look at it."
Yeah, that's good for sure. Well, we stole a corner of the barn here at English Day, so I'm sure that y'all have heard some background noise in the back, and I'll do my very best to take some of it out. But that's just part of it. That's where we could get set up here on top of old dog box and get this done. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out before we get off here? We've been at it right at an hour.
Well, I mean, I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with me, and there's a list of people that's helped me throughout the time with dogs and things like that. And, like I said, Scott Morton, he helped me, when I didn't even have a dog to hunt. He called me, he's like, "Hunt this dog," And, Tommy Corbick, the line of dogs that I run, when I first started that line of dogs, Tommy had the male dog that I bred them, that's where it started at for me. And, just a whole pile of people, but it's more than I can list. And you just want to thank them all for putting up with you and dealing with you. And as I was talking to before we started, I was talking to my daughter. She's like, "When are you coming home?" I said, "Well, I need Ranger to win a cast night. Dad'll be home on Sunday." She goes, "What if he gets second place?" I said, we don't want second in cash. We want second in hunt. But I said, Daddy really like to come home on Sunday. He don't want to leave out of here tonight. So, I mean, things like that, she was wanting to come with me because she likes to go hunting with me. And I told her, I said, if you go out there with me, it ain't like going hunting with Daddy. Daddy, if you hunt with me and you're getting tired, I'll take you home. I hear you're stuck in the woods for 2 hours with a bunch of grown men that don't want to say, well, call time out. You can take her back. No, we're here for 2 hours. You'll have to rough it out. But, she misses me and stuff like that. And I think the other two, my oldest kids, 14 and 16, they did some yard work the other day, and I got text messages. Well, what can we get for doing all this yard work? I said, well, I'll give you a place to live and something to eat. Pay your cell phone bill for the month. I mean, but they just, I like to thank my family mainly, my wife and my kids, and they're feeding my dogs at the house right now. My wife called me, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It wasn't one of them good phone call conversations, but dogs this and dogs that, and got 2 dogs that got out somehow, and they running around the neighborhood. And I'm like, well, hey, they'll come home, catch them.
Yeah, well, and it takes a good family behind you to be able to go out and compete and do these things for sure. And Brett Denny talked about that on our podcast that we done, and that's definitely important. But we've been at it just over an hour, so we're gonna draw her to a close here. And I want to thank you for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast. I want to also thank Brett Stevens for hooking me and you up together. He was a mutual friend of ours, and he kind of put us together. So I want to give him a shout out and tell him thank you for that. And I wanted to say thank you to you for sponsoring the podcast. We really do appreciate it. We hope to build a long relationship with you, and hopefully we can help you sell some dog boxes.
Yeah, hopefully that's the name of the game. And, one more thing I'd like to add. I was talking to Chuck Henson.
Yeah.
He's been on here. I told Chuck and Brett, I said, I get to be famous like y'all boys now. He said, Chuck goes, well, me and Brett's talk, we might let you in the club.
Yeah, I actually talked to Chuck yesterday. He's a super guy.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those guys are really, really good guys. They're literally like finding a lost family member somewhere, because they are really good guys, both of them. So
yeah. Oh, Chuck, he called me. One more thing I'd like to add about that funny story thing real quick. Chuck called me. He said, man, I saw one of your dog boxes. I said, you did? He said, I was on an undercover mission. I said, hang on a little bit, and you probably get that thing at that auction down there pretty cheap when it goes back through the sale. He said, I was up in Kentucky, and I saw that one you built for Preston. He's up there, him and Brett was up there turkey hunting. He said, I'm going to get you to build me a dog box. I said, all right, well, send me some money and I'll get you a dog box. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. He told me, I was on an undercover mission. I said, I wonder who I sold that dog box
to. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today to sit down with me here and talk about it. I appreciate the dog box. We'll get some video put up on the YouTube channel so people can see what they look like. And we'll get out of here so you can get ready to hit the woods tonight. And I'm going to head it back west to Missouri here in a few minutes. So thank you again for joining me, and thank you for joining us this week on the Coonhound Collective podcast. Hey guys, Jason at the Coonhound Collective podcast. Today I'm here to talk to you about a benefit hunt that's coming up. The State of Missouri Coon Hunters Association is holding the annual Shriners Children's Hospital benefit hunt on September the 24th, 2022. This is a UKC sanctioned event. There will be a bench show and a night hunt. There will also be a auction on the grounds at 1 o'clock. For more information on that, you can go to the Shriners Children's Hospital Benefit Stud Dog Auction and more on Facebook and check it out. You can scroll down through there. The winner of the bench show is going to get a CZ custom dog box. The winner of the night hunt is going to get the same custom dog box. There's a dog box up for auction right now over there, and a ton of stud dogs. Really nice dogs. Be a good opportunity to reserve a breeding for one of these dogs. Get your name in there. Stay on top of it. Make sure you win it so you can get a good breeding for that good female that you got out there. And there's a ton more other prizes. There's puppies being given away, some young dogs that are being auctioned, a lot of good things. Coon hunters are coming together for a great cause here help us make this hunt a large hunt here in Missouri. Help us raise some money to give to the Shriners Hospital. These guys are excited. They're really on fire here to try to make this hunt big. They're making a push here to make it. So help these guys out to really make this hunt a big hunt. You can reach out to Larry Bourbon if you don't have Facebook, and his phone number is 636-388-5420, 636-388-5420, or you can also reach out to Colton Ingram, and his phone number 636-249-3330, 636-249-3330. If you have something that you could auction off, get with these guys. They'll get it posted up on the page and get the auction running. Anything and everything. Doesn't have to be coon hunted related. Get it to them. Let's help these guys raise money for a great cause here. Coon hunters always come together to help other people. This is a great cause to help people. Let's help the State of Missouri Coon Hunter Association send a big check to the Shriners Hospital. Thanks. Thanks, guys, for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the podcast. If you don't mind, head over to Facebook and give us a like, and head over to Instagram and give us a follow. It's both at the Coonhound Collective. Also, if you would like to reach us here at the Coonhound Collective, you can reach us at thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. If there's someone that you would like to hear on the podcast or a product that you would like to hear talked about, please send it to thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great day.